Good morning, everybody. Today I want to talk about what people are working on, and I have a little bit of housekeeping. So for the book club, it's on Mondays. The book is The One Thing by Gary Keller, one of my favorite books. He also has a podcast also called The One Thing, and the guy made like $500 million in his life, and he's done with work at noon. So pretty good guy to follow if you want work-life balance. Although in the beginning of your career, there's a lot more work, but eventually you can do more work-life balance. Um, and today we have our first women's clothing call at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, led by Michelle. And then the podcast is an hour earlier today. Um, it's being recorded at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And afterwards, we have coaching for all Patreon members. And that starts at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So very exciting. Now I want to ask people what they're working on. I'll start. I'm working on training my staff to do both photos and listing. I have a new person now. So two people working. They both are going to do 100. The goal is to do let me back up for a second. It's 1,050 items a week between the two of them. So they're each going to do sorry, I'm trying to do the math here. 210, 105 listings a day each. So they're going to take photos of 105 items, list 105 items, pack 105 items, and put them in the bins for me. So I'll start to finish 105 items each. So I'm going to be training the process of doing both. So that's very exciting. And I wanted them to both be hourly workers, and I was going to switch to W-2 employees instead of 1099, but they want to try it contractor with the contract of doing 510 listings, 525 listings per week as the contract instead of being W-2. So we're going to try it. I said, let's make a schedule, because without a schedule, it doesn't work. You can't just do it whenever you feel like it. It won't get done. We need to figure out how to do it. And if in California, when you tell them how to do it, they're an employee. So I'm going to try and figure out. It's a little bit complicated, but we're going to try next week of them doing it on their own schedule. And I don't think it's going to work. So the following week, I think around September 1st, we'll switch completely over to, I think the schedule will be 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Come in at 8, work till 4:30, take a half an hour break sometime in there. First half of the day, take pictures. Second half of the day, list 105 each for both of them. And then myself, I'm trying to decide if I want a little store to make $50,000 a year or $100,000 a year. I haven't decided what size I want the little store to be, because since I'm already doing, it doesn't take that much time to do 20 listings versus 10 listings. So I'm thinking about going that route. So let's start with Jen. Jen, what are you working on?
Well, when I saw Isaiah's shoe racks collapse,
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely felt devastated for him. But then I looked around my house and I thought, that looks like my house, not with racks having collapsed. So Sunday afternoon, when I saw this one, I saw him like tackling it. I went through every piece of clothing that was in those piles, sorted them by type category, counted them, and then completely reorganized my back room and got them out of my living room, which was huge for me because I looked like a hoarder. I mean, it was embarrassing. So, but I managed, and I'm continuing to do my 10 listings a day. I haven't gone through another bin because I've been reviewing all my bin items, updating them on eBay at the same time. And I haven't done a bin since Friday, but I've done 19 bins so far of my 123. So the goal is to go through, and a big little benchmark. I just hit $11,000 on my 90-day total, which is for me way awesome. So that's what's going on. I can't hear you.
Let's go with I said that's great. I think that everyone could do a little cleaning. And also I figured out another source of frustration for people. I actually wrote this down because I think it's huge. It's clutter. It's number one, I think, for making people frustrated. If you go into a workspace and there's no clutter, you're already 90% better off than everybody else because most people don't spend the time to clean. And I've been with the new store, I've been selling things I don't use, and it's awesome. I can't wait to just sell everything I don't use because it's just less work, less overhead. Um, so you can see a lot of people are downsizing, and a lot of people who do eBay are um, over the age of 40. I'd say like 80% of people who do eBay are older. So um, you have a lot of stuff. You should be able to list stuff that you already own for months actually without buying anything if you really think about it. And most of your stuff's not worth as much as you think. So yesterday I sold a pair of shoes and made $4 profit. That's the reality in the beginning. You just got to move stuff through your store. Once you get 100 sales, there's a lot more momentum and you start figuring it out. But if you have a pair of shoes and it's worth $29 and you list it for $69, that's a waste of everything. It's a waste of time of you listing it, photographing it, storing it. No one will ever buy it. You're paying insertion fees on eBay. So it's actually costing you money and space. So list that pair of shoes for $25 when it's listed for 29 and move on to the next thing. Let's go with Lysandra. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, everyone. This is my first day here doing a Zoom call with grown-ups.
I love it. What are you working on?
I just joined yesterday, and first of all, I'm having a problem getting into the Facebook group. I think I had sent a message to you and also to Tech and Sports. He referred me back to you. I think I gave you the wrong email address and never heard back on that second request. Anyway.
I just got you in, but go ahead.
Okay, awesome. So yes, I've been eBaying on and off for probably about 20 years, and just about 3 years ago went full time and kind of hit a plateau. I cannot for the life of me get beyond like $4,500 in a 90-day period. I have major ADHD issues. I hear you guys listing so many items a day, and it just boggles me that on my best day I can do 10 items. I started actually as of last night switching from free shipping. Anything that I listed yesterday, I'm now starting to do with, added shipping to that.
Mm-hmm.
Following you, Tech and Sports, like all the big hitters that are doing things your way. I've followed so many different sellers over the years, and it just gets really distracting. So I just need to increase my timing, or rather decrease my timing so I can get more listings done. And was wondering if you do store reviews either on here, or how does that work to get somebody's eyeballs on there?
Now that you're in the Facebook group, you can post your store. And what I would recommend is everyone in the group, you should ask for help pretty much as possible. I don't think there's really any downside to asking for help because people like helping. The thing is, to get the best help needs to be a specific question. So for you, I think this is the biggest problem that I had when I joined the group 10 months ago. I didn't realize how much time I wasted. Now 10 listings takes me half an hour. 10 listings should take me the whole day when I didn't understand what I was doing, or I didn't think about reducing things. So one of the issues with watching YouTube is you keep adding things. People will say, hey, why don't you try this? So now you go out and buy that, come home, and you add that to an already complicated process. So our goal in this group is to reduce things that don't help you list more items. And then I think charging for shipping has the benefit of having a lower perceived price. If you're selling brand new items, it doesn't. But if you're selling a pre-owned item, 19 plus $5 shipping sounds cheaper than $24 free shipping for most people looking for pre-owned stuff. And especially if $5 is reasonable. But why don't you talk about what your day looks like? Are you full-time, part-time?
Yes, I'm full-time. So I kind of give myself the hours of 10 to 4. And then I usually head out to the post office after that. I prefer dropping it off myself. It's right in the area. I go to the gym, take care of other stuff, and I come back and I'll do my actual like I photograph during the day, I source during the day, and in the evening, my boyfriend's in construction, goes to bed super early. Once he's in bed, I can work again, usually till about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, and I'll do the actual listings. During the day, in the morning, I use List Perfectly. So I take everything that I've listed the night before and have List Perfectly cross post, and I adjust prices depending on the platform. So I'm also listing on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Grailed, and Facebook Marketplace. So and whenever I get a notification that it sells on one, I go on List Perfectly and delist from all the other sites immediately. So
Is that something that, so you have 10 listings on multiple sites per day?
I have, well, currently, yes. So little by little, 5 to 10 a day. I'm up to almost 600, I think 590 something as of last night, total listings. And you're right, as far as like trying to narrow down the categories, I've done mostly clothing over the years. And I was following a guy that was doing pots and pans and doing this and doing that. And it's just really, it's a pain in the ass to photograph all these different types of items. And I find it's easiest doing clothing, and flat lays even easier. And I'm trying to get away from doing women's clothing. Every single return I've had has always been women's clothing. I think in the last 3 or 4 years, I've had one return from a guy, and it was my mistake on the listing as far as the sizing. I also started incorporating taking pictures of the actual, doing the measurements in the pictures. So much easier, so much faster. So that's been a big help, and just kind of getting through your YouTube videos little by little.
So I have a question. What do you mean by easier?
As far as what?
As far as like taking pictures of the measurements, or taking pictures of clothing versus pots and pans, what's easier about it?
What's easier, doing like all types, like I'll do all jeans one day or all shirts. So some of the shirts and dresses I'll do, they just look better, present better on a mannequin. So if I have a bunch of things that are to be done on a mannequin, I'll wait till I have enough of those instead of doing mannequin and then doing flat lay. If I have, so I do against a white background. If I do a hang up, as opposed to I just do on the wood floor, the jeans, and I will use what's it called, photo room, for like the first picture to do a white background, and then everything else I leave as is. And doing the measurements in the picture is easier, because what I would do is first I would photograph everything, then in the evening I would measure everything, weigh everything, and then put it all away. So it's just trying to cut down all the different steps into making it faster.
Okay. So Harry Tornado in the chat says, he says, oh, basically you time everything you do and figure out where the holes in the boat are. So I do the same thing. I recommend that you look at all the different processes. And what you said by easier is it used to be how I look at it, like what's easier, but now I think of it as like units per hour. So I look at it as more productive. So as an example, I no longer use a mannequin and I'm one of the top dress sellers on eBay. I sell probably 30 dresses a day, and I never use a mannequin because I think that you can stage a dress flat lay and it looks better than a mannequin because you can show the form. Also, there are certain things that you have to use a mannequin if it's really flowy. Also, I think plus size stuff is easier on a mannequin. However, fit is challenging because on a mannequin, to make it look right, sometimes you have to pin items. Sometimes you have to alter the form because your mannequin is the wrong size. So it's just interesting when you look at, I think instead of easier, think of more productive, because that is, I had this easier mindset, which is like a shortcut mindset, but now I'm thinking of it as production. So like you have that, how regularly have you been going to the gym?
Oh my God. Well, you don't want to talk about that. As of last year, I actually stopped doing what I was doing, but I was a pro bodybuilder for many years competing. So it's still every day, 6 days a week. I'm down to 6 days a week, once a day. On some days I still work out twice a day. So.
Do you go the same time each day?
Usually, yeah. In the morning I'll do cardio, and then in the evening I do a different body part and then cardio. So it's pretty regimented. Yeah.
Okay. So this is exactly like bodybuilding, in my opinion. because the main exercises like the squat, the deadlift, and the bench press are the listing, the photography, and the shipping process.
Mhm.
And if you just get it, those are the main things. And right now you have a super complex, you're essentially doing one rep of 10 different exercises. That's what cross listing on so many platforms does. It's hard to get momentum, and it's hard to build resistance when you only do one over 10, because you're not good at any of the 10 platforms because your attention is so diverse. So what I would recommend is pick one platform first, then because you're at $1,500 a month in sales. You can do $1,500 a month on sales on any of those platforms. You don't need to complicate it with 10 different things. Also, List Perfectly's template doesn't translate specific, like, okay, it's pretty good. I like List Perfectly if you're going to cross post, but the item specifics are different on every single platform. It's just like how I'm going to relate this is if you put Instagram content on YouTube, or you do, it doesn't fit exactly, because if you were to put Instagram content on YouTube, it might be in the form of a phone where it's skinny and people are used to watching it on wide format. So it doesn't translate exactly. So when people use a program like List Perfectly or Vendu, some of the information gets lost in translation. And so the customer doesn't get the exact experience. Also, I agree with you with women's clothing having a high amount of returns. I like women's clothing because it's hard. I, I would say women's clothing is the hardest category. There's a
Yes, it is.
million different item specifics. Size is really important. It's ridiculously competitive. If you go to a thrift store, it's 50% women's clothing. So if you're looking for easier, it wouldn't be women's clothing. It's
No,
the
not at
it's the
all. I'm trying to get
hardest
away from
category.
it. It's
Yeah.
way too many details, and it's the reasons for the returns just boggle me. Like I've been a gym rat my entire life. I think like a guy. I hang out with guys,
Yeah.
and the reason I had the one return from a guy was it was my fault. I listed a medium, and I didn't realize that it was a medium like teen as opposed to men's anyway. But the women, it's the wrong shade of pink. It didn't fit after, you put the item specifics and everything else is in there, and it just blows my mind, like the reasons for, I just didn't like it. Like, well, fuck you, sorry.
No, I hear you. Oh, that's
So my
that's
fix is just doing more men's clothing, which I find a lot, simpler. It's very simple. It's a couple of measurements, and
yeah.
it's a bit like just no returns. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I hear you. Um, I think that's really good that you have sort of your schedule laid out. And now when you start thinking about, because you go to the post office the same time every day, so
Yes, pretty much.
a lot of people use this call as an anchor. So you wake up, you arrange your listing and photography around this call, then you go to the post office usually at the end of the day. You did the habit stacking, which is you connected the gym and the post office together.
Mhm.
My entire day looks like that. It's like one thing's connected to the next thing, it's connected to the next thing. So it's just like a momentum thing. And yeah, I think how long does your workout take?
Uh, from an hour to 90 minutes in the
Yeah,
evening.
that's how long your listing should take, and that's how long your photo should take. You wouldn't want to go to the gym for spread your whole workout up through the whole day.
Hmm.
It doesn't work. You want to condense it into a smaller time block. That's like if you hired a personal trainer and he or she didn't tell you how long the workout was going to take, you'd be like, I want a different trainer.
Mm-mm.
So it's the same thing with eBay. I'm not going to say take as long as you want all day for eBay listings. For 10 listings, according to me, should take 1 hour to list. That's 6 minutes an item, and maximum 3 minutes per photo. So we're talking 30 minutes for 10 photos, and then 1 hour for listing, an hour and a half. You could do it 100% at night when your boyfriend goes to sleep, and take the rest of the day off and work on other things. But I I definitely recommend narrowing down the platforms. That's way too many platforms for such a small store.
Mm.
Because the name of the game is with 600 listings. If you had 6,000 listings, you'd probably be doing 15,000 a month instead of 1,500 a month. And 6,000 listings sounds like a lot, but it's not when you have a 30 a day habit, 20 a day habit. right now with 10 listings, your maximum, what's the average sale price of your items?
I would say between 25 to 30.
Okay, so let's say $30. If you list 10, that's 300. The maximum you could do in a month is 10,000 in sales. And you usually don't sell all your items immediately. They take a few months, especially the categories that you're picking. Men's clothing sells, but it's not necessarily that fast. So it's good to think about. But the 10 listing goal, it should be broken down into 1 hour of listing, half an hour of photos. So if you want more, you just keep adding that to put your day together. But I think there's a lot of bodybuilders in the Facebook group, so I'm glad that you joined, because I think it's very similar. It's just like, if you think of it like a bodybuilder, it's all mechanical. It's not like when you're trying to lose a certain amount of weight or gain a certain amount of weight or make one muscle grow. It's just the progressively more weight.
Mhm.
Same thing. So with eBay, you can actually do progressively faster, like try to get your 10 listings done in the shortest period as possible. Or some people in the group they go like 10 listings 1 week for a month, and the next month they do 11, next month they do 12. And after a year, you've gone from 12 listings to 24 listings. And it's the same thing with bodybuilding too. If you go too fast, you'll get injured. It's identical for eBay. If you move too fast,
progressive overload.
that's right. Progressive overload. That's right. So, but people are really impatient. So thank you for sharing your day. That's important.
Thank you. Thank you for your input.
I also think that you should try to do, if your goal is 10 a day, maybe try to not do it 7 days a week. I'm going to try to do the 70 listings goal just on Sunday. Just smash it all into one productive bubble, and then take the rest of the week off for the little store.
Ooh.
That way, who doesn't want 6 days off, 1 day on? But it's basically like a marathon on 1 day, and the rest of the days you just relax. You just had to go that route. But yeah, I love it. I love the 10 listing goal. It's because 10 listings should make you $1,000 a week profit. I'm sorry, 10 listings per day. I really, really like that goal.
Okay.
Let's go with Beth. Beth, good morning. Can you chat?
I can chat. I figured out how to unmute it.
I love it. What are you working on?
What am I working on? Well, I just joined, and my iMac crashed last week, and so I'm working on an iPad, and the iMac's got to be reset up. So I'm kind of like all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically full-time. I need to list faster. I don't know how you do it. So
well, let's back up. Most people, I would say that listing faster, not necessarily the problem. But what's your listing goal?
my listing goal would be 10 a day for now, ultimately higher, but I haven't been doing 10 a day. Therefore, I'm trying to hit 5 a day and increase to 10.
No problem. So I would say that the mechanics of how to list are the problem, not the we need to break it down to the simplest parts of it, which is title, item specifics, pricing. So of those three things, which take you the longest? The title, the item specifics, or figuring out what to sell for?
That's a good question.
See, that's not.
I just think I'm a slow person. Does that make sense? I just think I
Mm.
overthink like everything. I actually have been doing this on and off since 2003. On and off. But yeah, so it's like I never thought about how long I took to do anything, but I've retired and I have all this time and I still can't accomplish anything. So apparently I am just way too slow.
Okay. I'm going to unlock one of the biggest secrets of everything now. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So if you ever watch TV and you watch somebody who's at the Olympics or somebody that's really, really high performance, so they would be the opposite of that. They would be like really, really fast at what they do, right? And you ask them what they're thinking about. What do they always answer?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right?
Nothing is the answer. You can't think like like for example, I asked you the question, what is the most difficult for you, title, item specifics, or pricing? Even that question, there's a lot of stuff rolling around in your head, right? So if for me, the hardest part probably is pricing, because
Right.
I don't know the exact, should I list it for $20? Should I list it for $30? That does make a difference, right? The
Right.
title, for me, I look at the item and I can find something on eBay that's similar.
Mhm.
So I can kind of figure out what to call it, because there's already something else kind of like it.
Right. No, and I sit there and I look and I say, okay, well, that person sold it for that price, but I don't like their title and they sold it too low. So they could have sold it higher. And the reason they could have, because they didn't do this and they should have put this. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tommy says there's a big difference between being slow and careful. Oh, being slow and being careful and meticulous. I think that you're not slow. You just think a lot. So to reduce the thinking, you got to, just like you said, you're looking at how other people do it and determining how you want to do it. But I think it's what you want to do is, it's almost like, don't look at how other people do it. Look at how the buyer would look for it.
Right.
Then if we switch that mentality, maybe it's not as overwhelming, because there's only one kind of person looking for, what kind of things do you sell?
What do I sell? I sell sports bras. I sell men's shorts, swim trunks, board shorts.
Okay.
I sell sweaters, men's and women's,
Okay.
and then a whole bunch of random other stuff. But those first things that I said are the things that, like, I've been listening to you, and it's like I want to drill it down to the things that I know that I like to sell and that are fairly easy to take pictures of, measure, and list, and that I can become an expert in or already have some expertise in.
And as you become more and more of an expert, you think less and less and less and less and less.
Yes, I sure do. And it's easier to source. I just go to 2 places in the store and I go, and I'm done.
So it is, as I consider myself a men's shorts connoisseur at this point, because I've listed so many of them. It's basically just waist, right?
Right.
Measurement.
Mhm.
Inseam does matter to some guys,
Yeah.
especially for some reason in California, lots of guys wear really, really short shorts. So
Yeah, they
you
buy
have-
them all. I send them all to California from Miami.
they all come here. So it doesn't take very long to become an expert in how to, like, men's shorts, size 33
Right.
brand.
Yep.
That's, or you probably will sell the shorts with no other keywords, right? If you just put
Brand.
if you just put Volcom men's shorts size 33, I don't think as a guy, I don't really need that. That's what I type
Don't you
in,
want hybrid?
no,
Hybrid as opposed to chino?
well,
Doesn't that make a difference?
maybe, but I'm saying that you should be able to sell a pair of shorts with just Volcom size 33 shorts. That's good enough. Like I will be able to find that pair of shorts. So
Okay.
of course, if you are an expert and you know hybrid and you know the difference between cargo and chino, and you know flat
Right.
front versus pleated, and you know, to tell them this is a pair of swim shorts that's lined versus not lined. You can
Right.
say the drawstring is in good condition. These things will elevate you above 99% of other short sellers
Right.
that don't do that. But there's no thinking about that. You shouldn't be overthinking a pair of shorts. It's pretty straightforward.
No, and actually that's my favorite thing. If I have, there's stuff you can't see that's around me and over there and whatever, but I have like a stack of men's shorts. And if I could just list all of those today, it'd be a great day. But then there's all the other stuff I bought that I got to list too. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's 2 issues there. But yeah, but that's interesting. Like, as far as filling out all the item specifics when I'm listing it, I'm pretty good about like going in and filling out every little thing that I could fill out.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then I also, because I think about how I shop, is that I shop off my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't look at the items. I might look at the item specifics, but I look at the description that the person wrote more. But if I'm sitting in my computer, I'm going to go down the left column. I'm going to pick it that way. So it's like, how do more people buy? Do they shop on their phone or do they shop on their desktop? you
Most
know,
people,
so
well, let's talk about how you shop on your phone. What do you do?
what do I do? Okay, what would I want to buy? Well, let's just say I'm going to buy a pair of shorts. I'm going to put in Vineyard Vines,
Okay.
size 32,
Yeah.
green. And then if I want a longer inseam, I might put the inseam in that description. And then I would see what would come up. And then I might drop the inseam off and look, because I figure some idiot listed it and doesn't even know what the inseam is. So I can eyeball that.
Yeah, I guess that me too. If I'm searching for shorts, since most people don't know how to list, I just be as vague as possible and then
Okay.
look through the listings, right? That sounds right.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
okay, so that you said that there's these things you want to be an expert on, and there's all those things that are random. The
Yeah.
random things take up 90% of your day.
Sure do.
Yeah. So it's the 80, that's the 80-20 rule of the stuff that you just eventually stop doing. So since I'm doing this new store, it's really exciting because I can sell all the things I don't use in it and all the categories that I don't use it. And once they're all gone, I'm not going to buy them anymore. Like when I started this group, I was still selling furniture and bikes and like
Yeah.
everything.
I have some of that I got to offload
Yeah.
that just we own. Not that I
Yeah.
sourced, but.
And I actually said, oh, I think it's fine that I sell a bike a week, not realizing that probably takes 5 hours to sell one bike a week because I've got to take it. I don't know how to repair bikes. So I always take it to the shop to get it tuned up. I know it's quote unquote profitable because I scan it and it's worth $600 and it's $200. So I'm like, okay, let's do it. But then I don't think about all of the extra stuff involved because I just think, oh, it's profitable, but I'm not an expert. And after talking to bike sellers, they don't even like selling complete bikes because you thought the returns of women's clothing were high. Imagine a bike when there's 1,000 things on the thing that can break. So all the big bike sellers that I know have switched to parts. They won't even sell complete bikes because they don't want to return. They're like $80 for a return for shipping one way. I lose $160 on a return. I'm not shipping complete bikes anymore. So that's when you look at Instagram and you see people posting that they just sold a VCR for $200, usually they don't post about the return.
Right.
Right. It's not as cool. Actually, it is cool now to talk about failing and succeeding. So now you would get points for selling the VCR for 200 and you'd get points, likes for saying, I screwed up. I didn't test it. So it's interesting.
Yeah.
Now. You're rewarded for both.
Yeah.
No,
I bought a car part for my daughter's car, a big fender thing, and I bought the wrong part. And when I bought it, it said free returns on eBay.
Yep.
So I said, "Oh, I bought the wrong part. Want to return it?" And they're like, "Keep it. It's in my shed. If you want it, you can have it." I just put it in my shed. Maybe one day I'll sell it. So
that's
anyway,
funny.
I eventually got the right fender flare, and we repaired her car. So
I love it. Patty says that 83% of people shop from their phone.
Okay.
I think this is telling because you're not a millennial.
Yeah, absolutely not.
Right?
I have them, but I am not one.
So you're not a millennial, yet you still shop on your phone.
Yes, I do.
So that goes to show, like people are saying, oh no, older people only use the desktop. That's not true.
Well, you know why? Is that I worked for corporate America for 32 years. We didn't even have computers basically when I started, but they monitor what's on your computer. So if you pull eBay up on your computer, they can mirror into your computer and see what you're on at any time and listen to your phone call and like watch you. I don't know. Even if you're not on the phone. But if you're on your phone, then they don't know what you're doing. Which as a quasi manager person, I was like, cut off the damn Wi-Fi, do something. These people are watching Netflix. That's why their file quality is terrible. I don't even know how, thank you, Jesus, that I've retired because I could not manage that herd of thing. That is the person. And now that everybody's at home, I'm like, forget about it. I'm gone. You know, they're watching Netflix, playing with their kids and in the kitchen eating when they're pretending because I got a wireless headset now and you don't even know what they're doing. So,
you know, now people have like 100 side projects. I think it's very hard to hire someone that's like, you know what, I make beer in my spare time, and also I'm working on my own YouTube channel, and so I'm looking for work that I can do when I feel like it. It's like, okay, you can only drive Uber. with
Yeah.
all those different hobbies that you want to
Yes.
do and all these random
Yeah.
things. You can't actually work a real job. That doesn't work that way.
But the problem is people want benefits. So, they
That's
work for
interesting.
corporate.
I think a lot of millennials don't want benefits. They want flexibility. But normal people, they want benefits. They want retirement. Um,
So as
let's
somebody
see.
who's 29, they're a millennial, right?
I
I don't even know.
yeah, they are. Yeah.
Okay, because my 29-year-old really wants benefits, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Your 29-year-old is almost out of their 20s. So
yeah. If she
they're
would just
starting-
marry that guy,
they're
he's got
starting to
benefits.
feel the burn. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, no, trust me. This
I
week
didn't
they're
think
all
about
3
that.
are employed. It's a great week. Let's celebrate. First
I-
week in years. So,
I didn't realize that people are on their phone because their company can't monitor their
Mhm.
phone. That is a huge insight.
absolutely. I can give you many
Yeah.
more.
I love it.
So,
Great.
yeah.
Well, welcome.
And
welcome.
also you carry your phone to the bathroom and shop in the bathroom.
Oh,
It's
that's
a long
true.
walk. I used to, when I worked in the office, I used to do a lot of Poshmark because it was easy. I would list on Poshmark as I walked to the bathroom or share, but I would list on my way back and forth to the bathroom.
Hmm.
So your phone is with you. What can I tell you? Time
That's
management.
interesting. You can even watch a third of a Netflix episode if you want to.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's go with Brian. Brian, good morning. What are you working on?
Good morning. Well, just currently shipping, I guess, habit stacking while I'm watching the video, and I don't know. I'm just thinking about like the book we just finished, Atomic Habits. I just love the part where he was talking about the difference between professionals and amateurs,
Mhm.
and he says it's to embrace boredom, and that comes down to, like what we always talk about squirrel brain, where I used to sell everything and was always looking for the big flips. And now it's like, it's just my days are very similar. I usually source in the morning, list in the afternoon, and I'm done. And I just enjoy it. And, when you think about like Michael Phelps or the Olympian, as the Olympics just ended, and the best of the best, that's what they do. Like Michael Phelps, he wasn't in this Olympics, but he trained 7 days a week, and every day was the same. And a lot of people, or a lot of times, like, we get bored, and then when we get bored, we want to try it, or at least I'll speak for myself. When I got bored, I would want to try a different niche, a different platform. And when you're doing that, you never really master any niches, and you can never become a true professional. So I'm just embracing boredom right now.
I wonder if does that sound negative to you?
I think it would have at one point, but once you experience it, like, boredom doesn't have a negative connotation. I think Tech replied, it's, instead of boredom, you could insert predictable. Like when you look at your traffic, like traffic and sales, all that stuff becomes predictable when you develop these habits and routines, and you take away the stress. So it doesn't sound bad to me.
I think if you focus on one thing, it's almost like you can fully appreciate it, and you can see the variety, because a lot of creativity is born from boredom. Creativity is born from repetition. So like if you do 10 listings a day, every single day, all year, you'll notice, oh, you know what? When I eat breakfast, maybe I'm a little more lethargic versus if I just have coffee. Or if I go to bed really late at 2 o'clock in the morning, it messes up my next day. You start to notice your own pattern. And I think that to me is interesting. But it's kind of, even the version of me now, when I watch the Olympics, I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. Maybe I should start swimming. Maybe I should do synchronized swimming, because it's fun. It looks fun, but it's also like, you can't get good at it.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the answer for me, at least. Like, you start to finish earlier. If you don't increase your listing habit, you start to finish earlier. Your life becomes less stressful.
Yep.
And so I would say save that creativity and that fun for your free time. Pick a hobby, a project like in the book, they talked about Google as an example where they wanted their people to spend 80% of their time on their paid job description, what they're
Yep.
supposed to do. But
Mhm.
they allow them 10 to 20% of the time to work on, a project that they choose, that they want to try out.
Yep.
And that's where like AdWords and Gmail where it came from. So
Yep.
if you invest all your mental capacity, flipping bikes and like I was doing storage units, and then just if you're all over the place, you're exhausted. Or at least I was exhausted by the end of the day. Now I have gas left in the tank, so I could either increase my daily listing number, or I can stay where I'm at for a while and just get more of a life back. And I'm embracing the get more of a life back right now.
You just said something that's really important, because when you started this group, you were in perpetual growth mode, which happens, right? When you join this group, you'll be like, oh, wow, I need to list way more. But then you don't actually get peace until you've decided that you're good at that place for a while, because then you can just get better and better at your current listing goal. If your listing goal is always more than my listing goal before, during growth is the most difficult, time consuming, stressful part, because you don't know how to do more. But if your goal is 10 and you're already doing 10, now it's just mastering the 10, and it's a different mindset.
Yeah, I think because when you're growing, especially the rate of growth, like the rate of growth was too fast. Like I went from 10 a day, where I was hitting triple digits for a while, and it was too stressful. I think but it was your and Tech's podcast about the plateau, where for some reason that didn't click. I'm like, oh, he wasn't always growing pedal to the metal. So it's either, try to get close to reseller nirvana and just plateau for a while, which is fine. And since I've plateaued, like I see I'm finishing earlier over time. And we were talking about this, maybe your growth is very gradual. Like instead, if I'm listing 60 a day right now, maybe September goes 61, and then October 62, where it's a very gradual increase where you don't really feel it. But over time, those little bitty bumps will add up over time.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also, if you push yourself to do triple digits in a day, anyone that's done 100 listings before in one day, 10 is so peaceful. Once you've sort of figured out what it takes to do 100 in a day, and since we know Tech did 160 a day at one point by himself, you start to realize if you just did 160 for a day one time, you would kind of get it. Okay, everything's got to be in super productive mode to do that. Then you scale it back and you realize the 16-hour 160 listing day can be a 1 hour 10 listing day. Then that's comfortable for a lot of people.
Yeah, I think we've used the metaphor of running a lot. I think it works great with reselling. Like if you're doing 100 a day plus, maybe that's a marathoner. And so like, if you scale back to 50, that's like a half marathon. And if you're doing, 10 or 20, maybe that's a 5K. And that's just a lot easier. Like you've said this, I think, you don't want to be like redlining. And Atomic Habits talks about the flow state, and where you're not really thinking. It's the flow state, they've measured it's 4% above what you can do. But and I don't think you would even want to do that constantly, but like,
no,
find out like what your red line is, what you can do, and then back up. So it's not so stressful.
I think the Olympic goal is 1% a week. They're not over 10 years. That's how you become an Olympic athlete. Let's go with Cass. Cass, good morning. What are you working on? Hopefully she can chat.
Yeah, I can chat. Good morning. I am working on trying to find my perfect point. I'm doing 10 a day right now because I was doing 20 a day and I was running out of inventory. So I'm trying to find the perfect balance between keeping up with inventory and listing enough items.
Oh, getting enough inventory. So what is your process right now for getting stuff?
Right now, I go on Monday mornings. That's dollar days at our local Goodwill. So I go Monday mornings and I source for about 3 to 4 hours. And come home. Mondays I do, a list from my bank because I have to wash everything when I get at home. I have to sort everything, inventory everything. So on Mondays, I go sourcing and then I prep everything. Then the rest of the week I do, 10 items a day. I was doing 25, like I said, but I couldn't keep up with it.
Okay, so I want to share with the group how to get the most out of the group. So this person posted, I want to streamline the way I take photographs of clothes. Can anyone share any tips? At the moment, it's taking 3 to 4 minutes. The first question is, can you share your current setup, pics and steps if possible? Same thing. So if you post, I am running out of things to list and I want to list 25 a day, but I can only find 10. People will ask you, where do you get your items? What is your process? So for me, if you get a lot of items on dollar day on Monday, I would go Sunday too, because usually people wait for dollar day and it's hard to find things and there's longer lines on
True.
dollar day. I go the day, I learned that from tech, but I'll go the day before. If somebody's route is on Wednesday, I'll do Tuesday.
Did do that.
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did go on Friday. I had a friend invite me to go sourcing and I went on Friday. So now I have plenty of stuff. I spent a lot more money than I usually do, but I have plenty of stuff to get me through this week. So I'm going to try to up it this week back to at least 15 a day.
Okay. So that,
Sweet.
so it might have been as simple as just spend more time sourcing for you.
Yeah.
To get more stuff in.
Yeah, probably is. I just need to get out there more. Yeah. I ordered, some clothing from a retailer and got a big box in. But I've noticed if I go myself, I can get the same type of brands and do it cheaper. So I just need to get myself out there and work.
100%. I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great insight. If you do it yourself, it's always cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Just the time.
Yeah, I saved at least $1 an item, and that adds up really quickly.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with Adam D. Good morning. Hopefully he can chat.
Hello.
Yep. Adam, what's up? What are you working on?
Oh, hey. I'm fine, thanks. Lately I've been working on trying to list a lot more. I've got my sourcing under control. So I live in Canada, in London, Ontario, and we have the most Goodwills in all of Canada.
Nice.
Yeah. So we have like 6 Goodwills here, and we're the only place in Canada that has Goodwill bin.
Wow.
Like,
okay.
yeah, not even Toronto or BC, like anywhere in BC or Quebec has the bins that I know about.
I love it.
So,
cool. So what's your biggest challenge right now?
my biggest challenge right now is having enough motivation to list, because there's a lot of stuff going on around me.
Yeah.
Like helping out with my family. My dad's sick right now, and at the house that I'm living at, there's stuff going on. So like trying not to get distracted with all of the stuff going around me. And I've listened to you say before, because I've been following you guys now for like a couple months, and you mentioned that your emotional like stability is super important.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed you can really get sidetracked if you have a lot of stuff going on in your life, like emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been trying to get everything under control, but it set me back quite a bit with my daily listings.
I would say there's nothing more crippling than emotionally feeling empty or distraught. How can you even think about anything else, really? Like listing is the last thing on your mind if you are dealing with a lot of stuff. I mean, aging parents, dealing with illness, all of that I think when that stuff happens, you have to break it down to the smallest thing. Like, I'm just going to do photos today, or I'm just going to do one listing today. And that way you can get out of that, because it's like a huge weight on you. And how can you be motivated when maybe your goal is 20 listings a day, but you have this huge weight on you. It's too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have to go to the hospital now to go visit my dad with my family. So that's
Yeah.
that's gonna take up some more time. But I'll
gotcha.
have to reach out at next time at the
Okay.
next meeting.
Sounds good.
Thanks for having me on here.
You're welcome. Let's go with Eleanor. Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Just some insight at this point. As I've niched down, I have to actually go sourcing more often. I'm not doing more per day, but I'm getting more picky. And I think about the podcast you did when you went with the ladies and they kept saying, what about this one? And you kept saying, nope, 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 all the time. And so that's kind of what's going through my mind, because now I don't pick up a lot of what I did at the beginning. I'm getting more picky about it. And so now I go more days a week.
Yeah, my lady said, you rejected me more today than I have been in my entire life. Because she would find something that she thought was good, and I would be like, that's a definite no. Because I know like how long it takes to list. I know the keywords that are required, and I just skip all the ones that are too hard. There's so much stuff, like just get the easy stuff. Like if I could just sell 99% shorts and pants, I would. There's not enough for me to do that, but that would be so easy. It's like as Tech would say, everyone knows how to use a pair of pants. It's not going to get returned for, unless you do it wrong.
At first you get kind of excited because you find a brand name.
Yep.
But I started to look at the condition, and again, just nope, nope, nope. And so I haven't increased my numbers yet, but increased the number of days I go sourcing.
That's something that Tex said. He said he already knows the answer before you ask him the question, which is usually no. So since your just default is no, and it just makes it so much easier to, especially I think as you get older, you know what you like and just stick with it. Maybe everyone has to go through it. Everyone has to go through listing everything to realize that maybe you enjoy just listing a couple of things. Let's go with Michelle. Michelle, thank you for hosting the women's call in a couple of hours. What are you working on?
I am getting my listings done. There's two things that have like changed my whole business in the last month. And one of them is listing my listing bank. Instead of having my listing bank be for tomorrow, my listing bank is spread up over the week.
Mm-hmm.
So I never miss a day. Never. I haven't missed a day since then in listing, because I always have something in there to list, which is awesome. And so everything that I do today is going to be spread out over 7 days. So that part has been really, really cool. And then the other part of it is having my helper in the afternoon that makes me do all my listings in the morning. But really, honestly, you were talking about it earlier of like having a specific time that you do something and not filling up your entire day with listing. Now that I have to finish by noon.
Yep.
It forces me to like, I'm done by it. It's so much easier. Oh my God. Like life is so much easier right now because I'm done.
Isn't that crazy how you can just give yourself a time to be done by, and then
I thought you were crazy, Chris. You're like, my life is so much easier now that I'm listing 100 things a day. Like, yeah, whatever, dude. That's the salesman in you. But then I started doing it and like narrowing down my time and then like working on my speed. So within that noon time, how much can I get done? From like as soon as this call is over until noon. And like I'm working out in the morning now. I'm doing I'm doing all my listings in the morning. I have so much more time. It's insane.
No, 100 a day is easier than 10 because you can't do random when you're doing 100 a day. There's no random in 100 a day.
You turn into a robot is what you do to get it done. Like I am very robotic and I just get it. I don't spend a lot of time on research. I don't spend a lot of time, which I never really did anyway, but like I would spread out. I would find one Lululemon jacket that would take me an hour and a half to find the style name on. And it would drive me insane for the entire day. No, I don't do 100 a day, Andrea. I do like 50 a day. I'm working towards 70 a day. So
I like the 70 a day and take the next 6 days off. I'm gonna do that.
well, I'm trying to work towards 70 a day so I can have 50 a day.
Ooh, I love that strategy of
I'm doing 70 so I can have Saturdays, and because right now I'm taking Saturdays and Sundays off, which is a game changer. Tech was right on that. Absolutely. Totally changed my life. I have time to do like stuff.
Yeah. No,
So-
I have more time now, even
Yeah.
though my listing thing is higher. So what you just mentioned of setting a production goal okay, that's setting your capacity goal higher. So I like that. If you can do 100 in a day, but you do 50, then it's nice knowing that you only need to run at 50% of capacity.
Right.
70 and 50 might be like Brian had that too. If Brian is doing 100 listings and that's his red line, then it's going to feel overwhelming. But now doing 50 with 100 is no problem. But if Brian sat down and figured out how he could do 160 in a day, maybe 100 wouldn't seem so bad. Since I think 160 is pretty much the high end of it, what any human could do.
Well, Tech said it almost killed him.
And that's
Like,
him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So that's good to know that I think if we all spent $1,000 and like I'm thinking about doing this, like everyone just get together, I'll pay to just to watch him do what he does in a day, then you'd be like, wow, I'm so lazy. I really don't get that much done because there's so much that gets done in his day. Like eBay is almost like 250 listings is almost like a hobby for him. It's not even hard. And it's not hard because if it was hard, he wouldn't be consistent.
Yeah.
That's
But
the key.
he's had that mentality though. I've had a very squirrel mentality for the last, 15 years of doing this. And it's always been a fight for myself to get myself motivated enough to list, which is never going to happen. I realized. And so just having those external forces that are pushing me in the right direction has been really, really good for me. So
I love it. So I'm going sourcing now, and everybody like Cass, I source 2 days a week, and I've been sourcing 2 days a week this entire year. So that's like a structure that I have in place, and I've only missed. Let's see, this is what week of the year is it? Week of the year. So it is it's week number 32. So I have gone 63 times of the 64 possible times sourcing so far this year. I've only missed one time. That's because it rained at the flea market and they weren't open. So that's like, you can set that up so that it's the same every single week too. And if I was doing the 10 listings a day, I would do 100% garage sales. I would try to get all 70 at garage sales because you can make some crazy home runs if you do it that model. And if you're not in a warm place, then I would do the day before Dollar Day and Dollar Day. I would do a route of maybe like 10 stores that I go to. That's how I would approach 10 a day. Think about how much less pressure one item per store is. You can go to 10 thrift stores in a day if your goal is only one item per store. You can maximize your shopping. And Patty, you do not need someone for 30 listings a day. How can you even say that after being in this group?
No, not 30. I can't do 30 listings a day on my own.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You're totally capable of that.
I wish I was. I'm trying.
You are.
All right. If I can do it today, I'll be happy. I got 1,000 items coming in a couple of days. So yeah, I got to make room.
Yeah. I love it. Yes, you can, Patty. How can I believe in you more than you believe in you? Come on. You can do 30 a day.
I think my caffeine just hasn't kicked in yet. I'm still struggling to wake up.
You can do 30 a day without caffeine.
I don't know about that.
Eduardo, final thought.
Bite your tongue, Chris.
Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick that one of the things you were saying the other day really helped me. You were talking about the audience specifics, focusing on that, but what I did was just take all my pictures and consolidate them into one category. And when I was listing, I could do, like yesterday, I did 30, well, 28 really. I did 28, but it was because of a text call, because I got into a call and stopped listing, but I could have done more. But I kind of figured that it takes some time to get all those same kind of items together so that I could list that amount in less time, right? So if I want to get to 100, I just have to prepare so that the pictures I'm going to do have to be the same exact thing. Because it's kind of like you were saying the other day about choosing one category, but it's like if I'm going to do Shopkins, I'm just going to do Shopkins, and then I list 100 of them, But it's hard to get 100 of them ready with what I had, so I'm switching stuff around to make sure that we can, do that. So I'm making changes, and it's helping. Just wanted to share that.
I love it. I love that you're narrowing down. All right, everyone, have a wonderful day. We'll see you guys. Okay, before we leave, 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, women's call. 3 p.m. podcast recording today. 4 p.m. all tier coaching. So if you guys have questions, come this afternoon and we will knock them out. Everyone have a wonderful